Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtuprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Text 18 onwards. So yesterday we were discussing how Yashoda Maya went to call Krishna and Balram. They were playing with their friends and they didn't want to come home, but Yashoda Maya told them, come home, Nanda Baba is also waiting for you to have lunch together. And she told all the other boys to go to their homes so they can all have food together. So text 18 onwards. Dhuli dhusaritangastam putra majjanam avaha janmarksham te adya bhavati viprebhyo dehi gaha shuchi. Mother Yashoda further told Krishna, my dear son, because of playing all day, your body has become covered with dust and sand. Therefore come back, take your bath and cleanse yourself. Today the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore be pure and give cows in charity to the Brahmins. Purport. It's a custom of Vedic culture that whenever there is any auspicious ceremony, one should give valuable cows in charity to the Brahmins. Therefore Mother Yashoda requested Krishna, instead of being enthusiastic in playing, now please come and be enthusiastic in charity. Yajna dana tapa karma natyajyam karyam evatat. As advised in Bhagavad Gita, sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up. Even if one is very much advanced in spiritual life, one should not give up these three duties. To observe one's birthday ceremony, one should do something in terms of one of these three items, or all of them together. So yajna, dan, and tapa. Everybody should do. And even Krishna used to do. Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, they all used to do. Pashya Pashya Vyasyanste Matrin Dishtan Swalankritan Tvam cha Snata Kritaharo Viharasva Swalankritaha. Just see how all your playmates of your own age have been cleansed and decorated with beautiful ornaments by their mothers. You should come here, and after you have taken your bath, eaten your lunch, and been decorated with ornaments, you may play with your friends again. Generally, young boys are competitive. If one friend has done something, another friend also wants to do something, or same thing. Therefore, Mother Yashoda pointed out how Krishna's playmates were decorated so that Krishna might be induced to decorate himself like that. So, she's a super mother, topmost mother. Whatever we do, she has done everything and much more. Itam Yashoda Tamashesha Shekharam Atva Suttam Sneha Nibaddha Dhira Nripa Haste Grihitva Saharama Machyutam Nitva Savatam Kritvati Athodayam. My dear Maharaj Parikshit, because of intense love and affection, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's mother, considered Krishna, who was at the peak of all opulences, to be her own son. Thus she took Krishna by the hand along with Balaram and brought them home, where she performed her duties by fully bathing them, dressing them, and feeding them. Krishna is always neat and clean and opulent and does not need to be washed, bathed, or dressed. Yet Mother Yashoda, because of affection, considered him her ordinary child and did her duties to keep her son brilliant. That is mother. Shri Shukavacha Gopa Vriddha Mahotpatam Anubhuya Brihatvane Nandadaya Samagamamya Vraja Karyam Amantrayam. Shri Shukdev Goswami continued. Then one time, having seen the great disturbances in Brihadvan means where Gokul is. All the elderly persons among the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, assembled and began to consider what to do to stop the continuous disturbing situations in Vraja. So it wasn't that only 3 or 4 demons had come so far. Every day Kamsa was sending 2 or 3 demons. And Krishna, Balram, they were killing all of them. Even they were little. Like they killed Putana, Shattasur. Krishna killed Putana, Shattasur, Trinavarta. Kamsa was sending so many. Every day he was sending. But now Nanda Maharaj and all the Gopas thought there's so much of disturbance here in Gokul. So we have to move somewhere. Tatropanandan amaha Gopo Jnanavayo Adikaha Desha Kalartha Tattagyaha Priya Kridarama Krishnayo. At this meeting of all the inhabitants of Gokul, a cowherd man named Upananda, who was the most mature in age and knowledge and was very experienced according to time, circumstances, and country, made this suggestion for the benefit of Ram and Krishna. See, the center point is always Krishna and Balram, obviously. But center point is always them. They were not thinking about themselves. Oh, it will be too much inconvenience for us to move. Why should we move? These boys are okay. We'll take care. No, they were always thinking how to protect, how to safeguard Krishna and Ram, or Krishna and Balram. And of course, it's not mentioned here, but Srimati Radharani had already appeared in Raval. There's a place near Gokul, not far from there, Raval. So Radharani had appeared there. But now Gopas are thinking of moving. Of course, Radharani was not attacked at any time. But the Gopas are thinking of moving from Gokul and she cannot be separate. So Nanda Baba and everybody, they moved to Nandagaon. So meanwhile, Radharani's father, mother, Brishmanu Maharaj, Kirtidama Devi, they moved to Barsana. So they cannot be separated. And before that, we'll see where did they go first. Uttata vyamito asmabhir gokulasya hitashibhi ayantyatra mahatpata balanam nashahetvaha. He said, my dear friends, the cowherd men, in order to do good to this place, Gokul, we should leave it. Because so many disturbances are always occurring here just for the purpose of killing Ram and Krishna. Mukta khatat kathan chidrakshasya balaganya balako hyaso harer anugriha nunam anascho parinapatat. Child Krishna, simply by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was somehow or other rescued from the hands of Rakshashi Putna, who was determined to kill him. Then again, by the mercy of the Supreme Godhead, the handcart missed, falling upon the child. So they were thinking, Shattasur, somehow he missed falling upon Krishna. Chakravate nito ayam datyan vivadam vayat shilayam patitastatra paritrata sureshwara. Then again, the demon Trinavarta, in the form of whirlwind, took the child away into the dangerous sky to kill. But the demon fell down onto a slab of stone. In that case also, by the mercy of Lord Vishnu or his associates, the child was saved. Yannam riyat drumyor antaram prape balakaha asavayan vanyatamo vapi tadapi achyuta rakshanam. Even the other day, neither Krishna nor any of his playmates died from the falling of the 2 trees, although children were near the trees or even between them. This also is considered the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they're thinking even these Yamlarjan trees, they didn't fall on Krishna or on all the Gopas children. They could have been killed. See, Supreme Lord is so merciful. He's protecting these children. Yavad ot patiko arishto vrajam nabhi bhaveditaha tavad valano padaya yasyamo anyatra sanugaha. All these incidents are being caused by some unknown demon before he comes here to create another disturbance. It is our duty to go somewhere else with the boys until there are no more disturbances. Upananda suggested, by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, Krishna has always been saved from so many dangerous incidents. Now let us leave this place and go someplace where we may worship Lord Vishnu undisturbed before there is another cause of death from some demon who may attack us. A devotee desires only that he may execute devotion service undisturbed. Actually, we see, however, that even during the presence of Krishna, when Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men had the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their presence, there were disturbances. Of course, in every case, Krishna came out victorious. The instruction we may derive from this is that we should not be disturbed by so-called disturbances. There have been so many disturbances to our Krishna consciousness movement, but we cannot give up our forward march. On the contrary, people are receiving this movement very enthusiastically all over the world, and they're purchasing literature about Krishna consciousness with redoubled energy. Thus, there are both encouragements and disturbances. This was so even in Krishna's time. So even in that time, even Krishna personally, he was present. Balramji was there. But there were disturbances. There were attacks by the Rakshasas and the demons. So Prabhupada is saying we should not be disturbed and just carry on with our services, carry on with our sadhana. And so like Krishna was always victorious, Krishna will always be victorious here also, or he will always protect us. So they are thinking, Vanam Vrindavanam Nama Pashavyam Navakananam Gopa Gopi Gavam Sevyam Punya Trina Virudham. Between Nandeshwar and Mahavan is a place named Vrindavan. This place is very suitable because it is lush with grass, plants, and creepers for the cows and other animals. It has nice gardens and tall mountains and is full of facilities for the happiness of all the gopas and gopis and our animals. So Vrindavan is situated between Nandeshwar and Mahavan. Nandeshwar means Nandagaon, and Mahavan where Gokul was there. Formerly, the cowherd men had shifted to Mahavan, for still there were disturbances. Therefore, the cowherd men selected Vrindavan, which was between the two villages, and decided to go there. And obviously, at that time, it wasn't like they had to sell off their property in Gokul and move to Vrindavan, buy new property, new land in Vrindavan, and then new land in Nandagaon. It was all Nanda Babas. Everything belonged to him. Tatra Dhyava Yasyamaha Shaktan Yugta Machiram Godhananya Grato Yantu Bhavatam Yadi Rochate. Therefore, let us immediately go today. There is no need to wait any further. If you agree to my proposal, let us prepare all the bullock carts and put the cows in front of us, and let us go there. Tachrutva kadhiyo gopa sadhu sadviti vadina vrajan swan samayujya yayu rud parichada. Upon hearing this advice from Upananda, the cowherd men unanimously agreed. Very nice, they said, very nice. Thus they sorted out their household affairs, placed clothing and other paraphernalia on the carts, and immediately started for Vrindavan. So they didn't wait another day because they were so anxious to save Krishna and Balaram. Vridhan balan striyo rajan sarvopakaranani cha anaswaropya gopala yatta arta sharasana godhanani praskritya shranganya ya purya sarvataha turya ghoshena mehta yayu saha purohita. Keeping all the old men, women, children, and household paraphernalia on the bullock carts, and keeping all the cows in front, the cowherd men picked up their bows and arrows with great care and sounded bugles made of horn. O King Parikshit, in this way, with bugles vibrating all around, the cowherd men, accompanied by their priests, began their journey. In this connection, it is to be noted that although the inhabitants of Gokul were mostly cowherd men and cultivators, they knew how to defend themselves from danger and how to give protection to the women, the old men, the cows, and the children, as well as to the Brahminical Purohits. So this is how they were going. Old men, women, children on the carts, paraphernalia on the carts, and rest everybody was going to walk on foot. Gopyo Ruda Ratha Nutna Kuch Kunkam Akantaya Krishna Leela Jago Pritya Nishka Kantaya Suvasasaha. The cowherd men riding on the bullock carts were dressed very nicely with excellent garments, and their bodies, especially their breasts, cowherd women riding on the bullock carts were dressed very nicely with excellent garments, and their bodies, especially their breasts, were decorated with fresh kumkum powder. As they rode, they began to chant with great pleasure the pastimes of Krishna. So they were not singing any movie songs. So this just chanting the pastimes of Krishna. Tatha Yashoda Rohinya Ekam Shakatam Astite Rejatu Krishna Ramabhyam Tat Katha Shravan Utsake. Thus, hearing about the pastimes of Krishna Balram with great pleasure, Mother Yashoda and Rohini Devi, so as not to be separated from Krishna and Balram, for even a moment, got up with them on one bullock cart. In this situation, they all looked very beautiful. It appears that Mother Yashoda and Rohini could not be separated from Krishna and Balram even for a moment. They used to pass their time either by taking care of Krishna and Balram or by chanting about their pastimes. Thus, Mother Yashoda and Rohini looked very beautiful. And that is a real beauty, actually. Vrindavanam sampravishya sarvakala sukhavaham tatra chakrurvajavasam shaktar ardha chandravat. In this way, they entered Vrindavan, where it is always pleasing to live in all seasons. They made a temporary place to inhabit by placing the bullock carts around them in the shape of a half moon. So half moon, so to protect, and one side they could go in and out. As stated in Vishnu Purana, Shakti Vante Paryantas, Chandra Ardha Karat Samstite. And as stated in Harivansha also, there was no need to make fences all around. One side was already defended by thorn trees, and thus the thorn trees, the bullock carts, and the animals encircled the inhabitants in the temporary residence. And according to other books or acharyas, this temporary residence which they made was in Chatikara. So Chatikara is a place where when we go from Delhi to Vrindavan, so on that road, Delhi-Agra highway, so we take a left for Vrindavan. So that place, when we take the left, that place is Chatikara. So Nanda Baba and all the Gopas, they stayed there for temporarily. And now, so with Radharani and Vrishbhanu Maharaj, they stayed. There's a place from Chatikara, when we go to Govardhan, there's a small village called Ral. So Ral is the village of Radharani's Nani. So they stayed over there at Kirtadas' mother's house. Vrindavanam Govardhanam Yamuna Pulinani cha Vikshya Sid Uttama Priti Rama Madhavayor Nripa. O King Parikshit, when Ram and Krishna saw Vrindavan, Govardhan, and the banks of the river Yamuna, they both enjoyed great pleasure. Evam Rajoka Sampritim Yachanto Balacheshtita Kalvakya Swakalena Vatsapalo Bhavkuvatum. In this way, Krishna and Balram, acting like small boys and talking in half-broken language, gave transcendental pleasure to all the inhabitants of Braj. In due course of time, they became old enough to take care of the calves. So first they took care of the calves. As soon as Krishna and Balram were a little grown up, They were meant for taking care of the calves. Although born of a very well-to-do family, they still had to take care of the calves. This was the system of education. Those who were not born in Brahmin families were not meant for academic education. The Brahmins were trained in the literary academic education. The Kshatriyas were trained to take care of the state. And the Vaishyas learned how to cultivate the land and take care of the cows and the calves. There was no need to waste time going to school to be falsely educated and later increase the numbers of the unemployed. So it was all, what do you call it, job related or life earning related training they would get. Krishna and Balram taught us by their personal behavior. Krishna took care of the cows and played his flute, and Balram took care of the agricultural activities with the plow in his hand. In fact, even today in Vrindavan, in a whole Braj, the Brajvasis means you have to learn how to take care of cows and calves. Otherwise, you're not a Brajvasi. Avidure Brajbhuva Sah Gopal Darke Charya Masatur Vatsan Nana Krida Parichado. Not far away from the residential quarters, both Krishna and Balram, equipped with all kinds of playthings, play with other cowherd boys and began to tend the small calves. Kochit Vadayato Venum Kshepana Kshipata Kochit Pada Kinkani Bhi Kochit Kritrim Go Vrishaya Mano Nardanto Yuyudhate Parasparam Anukritya Rutar Jantu Cheratu Prakrito Yatha. Sometimes Krishna and Balram would play on the flute. Sometimes they would throw ropes and stones devised for getting fruits from the trees. Sometimes they would throw only stones, and sometimes their ankle bells tinkling. They would play football with fruits like bale and amalaki. Sometimes they would cover themselves with blankets and imitate cows and bulls and fight with one another, roaring loudly, and sometimes they would imitate the voices of the animals. In this way, they enjoyed sporting exactly like two ordinary human children. Vrindavan is full of peacocks. Kujat kokila hansa sarasagana kirne mayurakule. The Vrindavan forest is always full of cuckoos, ducks, swans, peacocks, cranes, and also monkeys, bulls, and cows. So Krishna and Balram used to imitate the sounds of these animals and enjoy sporting. So we can only imagine the kind of fun they would be having with all the cowherd boys, and whole day, every day, they just played and played. No schooling when they were in Vrindavan. No schooling. Kadachid Yamuna Tire Vatsanscharyato Swakah Vayasya Krishna Balayo Jigansur Datya Agamat. One day, while Ram and Krishna, along with their playmates, were tending the calves on the bank of the river Yamuna, another demon arrived there, desiring to kill them. So now the demons were thinking, now these boys are alone, parents are not there to protect them, now we can kill them. Not going to happen. Tam vatsa rupinam bhiksha vatsa yutagatam hari darshayana baladevaya shanera mugda ivasadat. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead saw that the demon had assumed the form of a calf and entered among the groups of other calves, he pointed out to Baladev, here is another demon. Then he very slowly approached the demon as if he did not understand the demon's intentions. So that was Vatsasura. He came in the form of a Vatsa or a calf. The import of the words Mugdha Iva is that although Krishna knows everything, here he pretended that he did not understand why the demon had entered among the calves, and he informed Baladev by a sign. Gritva parpadabhyam sahalangul achyutaha brahmayitva kapithagre prahinodgat jivitam sakapithar mahakaya patyamane papataha. Thereafter, Shri Krishna caught the demon by the hind legs and the tail and twirled the demon's whole body very strongly until the demon was dead, and threw him into the top of a kapitha tree, which then fell down along with the body of the demon who had assumed a great form. Krishna killed the demon in such a way as to get the kapitha fruits. Kapitha, I think, means pear. Kapitha fruits to fall so that he and Balram and the other boys could take advantage of the opportunity to eat them. The kapitha is sometimes called kshat belfal. The pulp of this is bale fruit. The pulp of this fruit is very palatable. It is sweet and sour, and everyone likes it. So this is how he just killed this Vatsasur. Now another thing in Vrindavan, whenever Krishna was playing and doing all killing of all these Rakshasas and demons, he never used any weapons. It was always just pick them up, throw them by the punching them, kick them. That's how he killed all the demons there in Vrindavan. Only when they came to Mathura, first time they picked up a weapon was in Mathura, and then later on in Dwarka also. But Vrindavan, no weapons. Of course, the idea was he didn't want that cowherd boys would think he's God or somebody very great. He just wanted to let them think, oh, he's like one of us. So I'm just trying to get to their Vatsasura, what kind of demon or what anartha he represents. Okay. Tam viksha vismita bala shashansu sadhu sadriti devasya pari santushta babu pushpavarshina. Upon seeing the dead body of the demons, all the cowherd boys exclaimed, well done, Krishna, very good, thank you. In the upper planetary system, all the demigods were pleased, and therefore they showered flowers on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Vatsasur. So Vatsasur, the calf demon, represents a childish mentality, mischievous and too easily influenced by bad association. It gives rise to a type of greediness for sense gratification through which one becomes absorbed in materialism. So that is Vatsasur, demonic tendency in our heart. According to Garg Samhita, in his last birth, he had been a demon, Pramila, the son of Muru. He conquered the demigods in battle and then entered the sage Vashishta's ashram and saw Vashishta's cow named Nandini. Pramila wanted that cow, so he disguised himself as a Brahman and tried to beg her. The cow spoke and said, you are a demon in disguise. For this offense, you will have to appeal as a calf. Pramila then surrendered to Vashishta and begged for mercy. And Vashishta, after being taken birth as a calf, he would be liberated by the Lord. So this is how he got liberated. But this is this mentality of greediness for sense gratification. So this is what it represents. So Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj in his harmonious research, he represents evils that are peculiar to boyhood. The neophyte is extremely susceptible to such evils. They can only be eliminated by the mercy of Krishna. If one engages in the Krishna service, they will be completely eradicated. Means all these anarthas will be completely eradicated at an early stage. So I'm just trying to see if there's it's a long article by Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj on this Vatsasura. So I'll not read the whole thing. So the summary points are: children are by nature playful and they should not be stifled. The only effective way to protect children from being contaminated is by engaging them in Krishna conscious activities. So basically, by hearing this or reading this killing of Vatsasura, one removes all this greediness in one's heart. Okay, so we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'd like to speak to you once everybody leaves. I just need to speak to you for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mata. You all have a safe
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri
Jai Shri
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.